Hello and welcome to the new video of Aperture 1.4. It's good to have you back again. In this video I would like to introduce you to the Tamron SP 3.8 to 5.4 60 to 300 mm. A high-performance zoom from the SP series. This series stood for best quality when the lens was released. This lens was built in the period from 1982 to 1990. The technical data of this 5x zoom reads excellent, and indicates good workmanship. And indeed, neither metal nor glass was spared here. Also, all markings are engraved and filled with paint. This not only looks good but is a high quality and long-lasting process. The lens weighs 875 grams, is 161 millimeters long. Its diameter is 68 millimeters. Each without adapter. 15 elements were installed in 11 groups. The smallest available aperture is 32, this is formed by 8 aperture blades. Screw-in filters require the size of 62 mm. The shortest setting distance is 1.9 meters. A macro option is available, more on that later. Tamron lenses were not built with fixed mounts for a specific camera brand. For each lens, the customer still had to purchase a Tamron Adaptall 2 adapter for connection to his camera. If the photographer owned a Canon A1, a Tamron Adaptall 2 adapter FD had to be purchased accordingly. If the photographer had a Minolta X500, a Tamron Adaptall 2 adapter MD was required. Tamron offered special adapters for almost all camera brands. These were simply attached to the respective Tamron lens, and transferred all the functions that an original lens of the respective camera brand also offered. Of course, the adapters could be exchanged by the photographer himself at any time, so that different cameras from different manufacturers could be used with the same lens. Of course, this still works today, as you can see here in the video. Ingenious, isn't it? The lens hood was supplied with the lens. It makes a rather plain impression, and attaching it is a bit tricky. Not best quality here. The lens is designed as a push and pull zoom. This means that focusing and focal length adjustment are done via the same ring. Since the lens can be focused manually, I find this solution very good. For autofocus lenses, however, I prefer a rotating zoom. There are probably different opinions about this. The distance can be adjusted as smooth as butter. Because of the, in my opinion, very good setting length, exact focusing is easy. It is always a pleasure to look at the lens. The color-filled engravings have done it to me. The apertures can be changed in the range from 3.8 to 16.5 steps. Only beyond that only whole steps are selectable. The apertures 22 to 32 without intermediate step. Should the lens be used on cameras that allow the aperture setting on the camera, for example a Canon A1 or Canon T90, a half aperture can also be used here. Tamron gave the lens a macro function that should be quite something. At least in theory. The largest imaging range is specified with 1 to 1.55. To achieve this special reproduction scale, the lens has to be set to the shortest setting distance of 1.9 meters, at the focal length setting of 60 millimeters. Then the zoom mechanism is pushed very slightly towards the bayonet, and at the same time the adjustment ring is pushed to the right, really just a very small amount. Now nothing stands in the way of photographing the mysterious world of small things, right? Please get your own impression from the sample photos. I have focused on the center of the image in each case. In my opinion, the lens is already sufficiently sharp in the center of the image at open aperture. Depending on the magnification, the peripheral areas look poor. Here stopping down is urgently necessary, even if the image never becomes sharp from corner to corner. Of course, whether you want to use this lens for macro photography depends a lot on your subject. Depending on the subject, a picture with this lens, stopped down, is better than no picture at all, if there is no special macro lens in your photo bag at the moment. Yes, it squeaks quite well. The old lady or the old gentleman is forgiven. Here you can see a few macro photos. But how does the lens perform in the medium and long range? I was out and about with the lens for a few days and it left me with a mixed impression. The clearly visible barrel distortion at 60 mm was striking. Sharpness was very good in the center of the image, and good at 300 mm. Chromatic aberrations are present, but not overly distracting and correctable. The question is always, does the lens need corner-to-corner sharpness performance? If this is important to you, then buy another lens. Many subjects need an optically well-corrected center, and from the center field. This is what this lens delivers, especially at light stopping down. I've included some sample images in this video. Take a look at them at your leisure and then decide for yourself. You can find more pictures taken with this lens on my homepage Aperture 1.4. Thank you for your interest in this video. If you want, then like the video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my homepage for more interesting topics around analog and digital photography. See you on the next video.